Alright, so the purpose of this Fox News video clip is to convince its viewers that climate change is not real, is not happening, and is not a big deal. They do this through a few examples, although most are illogical and therefore bring their entire argument to pieces. Nonetheless, the video starts out with this montage of NBC, ABC, liberally associated networks, and this mass hysteria over climate change, how the end of the world is coming. And following this sequence, the Fox News panelist comes on and attacks Brian Williams and NBC. They have this assumption, and this is their main argument, that NBC, these networks, and scientists are simply creating propaganda for additional money. They spit out this fact that $50 to $70 billion are granted toward travel and research toward global warming, and that if this mass hysteria was not created in the media, that their funding would run out. I feel like this is a somewhat valid, a strong argument, although I don't know about their facts. But listen to these other arguments that totally just don't make sense. So one panelist says that if you look at the same report from a few decades ago, referring to the IPCC, she says that they said the world was going to end in a couple years, so we should all be dead. This does not make any sense. I don't know what report she was talking about. She says that, therefore, the credibility of the scientists is lost. This is an example of ad hominem. She's attacking the credibility, although she has no justice whatsoever for doing this. Another example is a panelist is talking about global warming and how this mass hysteria is basically a cover-up for the government wanting to control the weather, and then she goes to say that if they can control the weather, they can control our lives, everything down to the appliances in our homes. Again, this doesn't really make sense. It's somewhat not even relevant. It's the slippery slope argument, although not really done quite well. However, one panelist at the end, I feel like she has somewhat of a valid point. She says that the U.S. cannot be the only nation aiming to lowering emissions because we have, and yet global warming is continuing. So she proposes a solution of economic growth, which will lead to innovation, cleaner burning fuels, which will lead to solutions to global warming. And I feel like she has somewhat of a point, and then following this somewhat logical point, she goes on to say that suppose you have a common cold and you go to the doctor, and they say, I guess we're going to have to take your leg. She's trying to relate that global warming is here, right? And it's an issue. It's a common cold. However, the mass hysteria is, oh no, we're going to have to take your leg. I mean, it's somewhat of an analogy. I feel like it's the weak false analogy, the logical fallacy. It's okay. I think she's trying to scare the viewers into saying, I guess we're going to have to take your leg. I don't know. But those were some examples of logical fallacies. At the end, I thought this was pretty witty. The lead panelist names a professor that actually supports his claims that global warming is not happening. And I looked this professor up. He's Professor Roy Spencer of Alabama. And I searched him, and I found that Dr. Spencer has endorsed a document called An Evangelical Declaration on Global Warming, which states that the Earth and its ecosystems, created by God's intelligent design, are robust, resilient, and self-regulating and self-correcting. He believes that most climate change is natural in origin. I don't know how the IPCC and most scientists would feel about his stance. I personally don't agree with this, and I just wanted to put his credibility and background out there. So in conclusion, I feel as if Fox News, they're trying to convince its viewers that climate change is not happening, and they're attacking these liberal networks. But honestly, it's not valid. And yeah.